Hello and welcome to another episode of Gentle Yoga. I hope you are ready for a nice relaxing practice to wind down your day and just engage with some self-care together. Go ahead and begin in child's pose. I don't usually begin in child's pose, but this is a little unique and different, so why not? For me, the way I am going to begin and the way I'm going to recommend that you begin is in more of a condensed child's pose. So rather than having the knees wide, in more of a hip opening stretch, bring the knees together underneath your belly, and that's a little bit more supportive of the low back. Maybe not all the way together, but if you have them directly beneath the hips, is a pretty good width for a more supported child's pose. And so I will demonstrate what that looks like. So here you would have your knees about hip distance apart, your feet underneath your hips, and as you hinge forward over your legs, your knees then support your low back and your arms are reaching forward. Your forehead is on the mat. You might also relax your arms down by your sides, have the backs of your arms on the earth, just relaxing your shoulders toward the earth. And so just take a few moments to breathe here and find some stillness. Notice how your body's feeling. Take it through a body scan. As is always the case of the yoga practice, the responsibility that you have when you approach the mat is to listen and is to pay attention and to not behave as though you already know what you will find and not discover when you arrive on your practice that you were ignoring the information and ignoring the sensations and perceptions of the world around you. And so paying attention is your first act, your first practice, if you will. So from this child's pose, press the palms into the earth, straighten the elbows, and so activate the arms. And on the inhale, pick the upper body up into tabletop here and establish a foundation here so that your hands are beneath your shoulders, your hips are over your knees, and so you're in a nice flat tabletop position. And then from this tabletop, bend at the elbows and lower the upper body down to the earth. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale for cobra. Just peel the chest and shoulders off the mat. So first little back bend of the day, so make this nice and easy. And now press the palms into the earth. Take it back to child's pose. So you're going to have to kind of figure out your hand and knee positioning for this flow. We're going to take it through child's pose, tabletop, cobra several times with our breath. It's just a nice, gentle vinyasa style flow. And so establish a foundation with your knees and your hands that enables you to not have to move them very much as we move, because you don't want to have to be distracted by constantly moving your hands or your knees. And so find a position that works for you. Inhale, up to tabletop. Exhale, bend the elbows lower on that reverse push-up. So the hips, the belly, the chest on the earth. Inhale, cobra. Gaze goes forward, neck is long. Press the palms into the earth on the exhale. Take it back to child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale to lower. Inhale for the back bend. No body weight in the hands. Gaze is forward. Exhale, child's pose. Take it through this flow several times using your own breath. All right, go ahead and finish out in child's pose for a moment. We're just going to take a quick pit stop here. Relax back to child's pose. And something that I want to bring your attention to for this next sequence is that sometimes what happens when we move through repetitive movements is that we can put our body on autopilot and then bring our mind right back to thinking about all the other things that are going on in our life, right? We put our muscles and our joints and our breath in this repetitive pattern of movement that we don't need to think very much about, and then we compartmentalize it over here while we start the other scripts in our mind about what is on our to-do list, what we should have done, what we still have to do today, things we should be doing other than doing yoga. Okay, I am guilty of doing this as much as anyone, but I just want to bring my attention and your attention to that reality that perhaps your mind wandered while you were moving. And I'm going to move through that same sequence again, another series of 5 or 6 full rounds of breath. And this time I'm going to approach it differently. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention to what's going on in my body. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing right now. And I invite you to do the same. Sometimes knowing that we aren't paying attention, or knowing that we maybe dropped the ball on something, it enables us to approach the second opportunity with a different mindset. And so that's what this is right now, is an opportunity to approach the same movements, but with a different mindset and perhaps a different level of attention and intention. So if you would join me in the same sequence of movements, take it through 4, 5, 6 full rounds on your own time, on your own breath. Take it through one more full round of movement here. And we'll all meet back in child's pose. I find it interesting how different those two experiences can be, and perhaps that was true of you too, that your body was doing the same thing, but your mind and where you were fixing your attention made it a different experience. So I hope that was enlightening for you. From child's pose, go ahead and extend the arms forward, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. 2 nice long slow breaths in downward facing dog. Now glance up at the hands and walk your feet forward, coming up to the top of the mat into a forward fold. Step your feet about hip distance apart. Bend the knees. Let your upper body relax onto the thighs and flip the hands inside the elbows. And just gently sway side to side. Right to left. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. All right, keep the soft bend in the knees as you bring your hands to your shins and support yourself into a halfway lifting shape. So lengthen the crown of the head forward, gaze is down. Exhale, fold over the legs. You can still keep that soft bend in the knees. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead, stand all the way up. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. All right, let's take it through a few half sun salutations right here. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs with control. Stay balanced as you move. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Let's take some forward and backward bends for the upper back here. So from a standing position, inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, cactus arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, gaze goes up. Inhale, arms overhead again. And exhale, bend the knees, the hips, bring the hands to the earth and curl up into a little rounded ball. Tuck the chin to the chest, lift the heels off the earth. All right, we're going to take it forward and backward with this same spinal back bend and rounding flow. So with our breath here. So inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right back where we started from the top. Inhale, arms overhead. Cactus arms for the back bend, gaze goes up. Inhale, arms overhead, bring everything back to center. Exhale, fold over the legs. Tuck the chin to the chest, rounding the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Activate the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take it through that same sequence one more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, cactus arms, back bend. Inhale, back to arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, or fold into that little ball. So tuck the chin to the chest, bend the knees, lift the heels off the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Next, we're going to explore some rotations here from the top of the mat. And so as you inhale, bring the arms overhead. And as you exhale, twist to the right. And as you do, drop the arms in line with the shoulders. And maybe even shift your gaze toward the back of the room. Think about glance out at your hips. Think about still having your hips square with the front of the mat. And it's the shoulders that are perpendicular with the hips. And so the twist that emerges is between the shoulders and the hips down the length of the spine. Sometimes it's tempting to use the hips to get into this twist, but if you do that, you're borrowing that twisting ability from the hips and from the legs, all right? And so keep the hips square over the front of the mat. It's the shoulders that are going to be perpendicular to the hips. All right, inhale, arms overhead. Other side, exhale. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. And if you can, shift your gaze over the back fingertips toward the back of the room. Let's take it back and forth several times with your own breath, with your own time. On the inhale, bring it back to center, and exhale, hands to heart center. Relax the arms down by your sides, flip the palms forward, and roll the shoulders up toward the ears, and then sweep them down and back behind your ears and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. And now bring your awareness and attention to your hip bones and your pelvis, these hip points on the very front of your pelvis. And so I want you to think about your pelvis as one word picture that I like is that it's like a basin of water, and you want it to be level from front to back, so you don't want it to tilt forward and tip the water out, nor do you want it to tip back and tilt the water out the back. You want it to be level. And then same thing from right to left. You don't want to tilt to the right or the left and spill the water, spill that basin of water out to the right or the left. You want to maintain balance all the way around with your pelvis, because when you do that, it creates a stable foundation for your spine, your upper body. So much of our posture begins with what's going on in our pelvis and our hip points, right? And it's common to have either a posterior tilt, which is where your pelvis tilts forward, or an anterior tilt, which is where your pelvis tucks under. And spinal problems, back pain, many imbalances that create a chain reaction up the spine begin from pelvis position. And so just being aware of that in our posture is an excellent first step toward perhaps correcting that and avoiding some pain or even injury later on down the road. Okay, so back to that standing position. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Pause for a moment. Press the palms into the earth. Elbows are straight. Palms are beneath the shoulders. Really active down the fronts of the thighs, the belly. Take an inhale. And with the exhale, with control, lower all the way to the earth as slowly as you can. Inhale, cobra. Just peel the chest and shoulders off the mat. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. All right, let's inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel, and on the exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Lower the back knee to the earth, and just some nice and easy forward, backward movement with the knee. We're not taking it into a half split just yet. We're just starting to warm up that hip joint. So going from the hip to that left hip flexor, and if it feels good, you might even heel toe that right foot outside the right knee or right hand. And maybe start to explore a little bit of external rotation, a little bit of opening, maybe even some circles. Just get comfortable with where you're at today, which is different from where you were at yesterday or where you might be tomorrow. This is a moment in time. All right, if you heel-toed the foot outside of the hands, go ahead and bring it back underneath the shoulder, and then press the palms up onto that front knee. Bring it into a nice low lunge here. Inhale, bring the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, flip the palms, and press the palms toward the sky, finding lift down both sides of the waist. And then since we started with a little bit of a back bend here from our standing position, let's continue with a little bit of a back bend here in this low lunge. So maybe unclasp the fingers, bend the elbows, and open up into a little cactus. Arms stretch for the upper back. Gaze goes up. Keep your balance. Inhale back to center, and exhale, hands to the earth. Curl the toes under. Step it back to plank, and we'll take it through a flow. Left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Same thing on this side. Lower the back knee to the earth and maybe start to explore some forward, backward movement with the knee. Maintain the nice deep breaths. And if you did so on the other side, you might heel toe that left foot outside the left hand and perhaps even start to explore some circles, just some organic movement here for that left hip. All right, bring that foot back underneath the shoulder. Establish your foundation here in this nice low lunge. So press the palms up onto that front knee. Take an inhale. Bring the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and press the palms toward the sky. Find that lift through both sides of the waist, lengthening the arms, lifting the shoulders up toward the sky. And then release the hands as you exhale into a little back bend. Bend the elbows, gaze goes up. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands back down to the earth. Take it back to plank and take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. All right, lower the knees to the earth. Take it back to child's pose for a moment. It's up to you. You could either have your knees nice and wide in child's pose, or you could have your knees beneath your belly. Walk your palms forward, elbows are straight. Really active in the arms here to really get a nice stretch down the upper body here. The arms, the lats. All right, inhale, bring it up to tabletop. Let's get back to our rotation ability for our upper back here. So have your hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath the hips. And then on the inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky. Exhale, back down to tabletop. Other side, inhale. Exhale, back down to tabletop. Move with your own breath. Inhale, right to left. A few more times each side. All right, from tabletop, come on back to center. And then pick up the right leg, kick it behind you, and open up into a nice long side plank, but supported with the knee beneath the hip here. And so the right shoulder is stacked on top of left, right hip is on top of left. I want you to think about your body as though you have a pane of glass in front of your body, right? And so everything's stacked. And now flip the palm toward the earth as though you could high-five the floor, and focus on taking a really nice long side stretch down the whole right side of the body. So think especially about the side waist, these muscles down the low back. Nice side stretch here. Relax into it. Now inhale, bring the fingers back up toward the sky. Bring the shoulders up over the hips. And then we're going to reverse it into a side stretch down the opposite side. Inhale, shoulders up over hips. Exhale, hands to the earth. Into that side stretch. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, long side stretch, gaze goes up. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, hand to the earth, relax into that side stretch. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, take it back to tabletop. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pick up the left leg, press it straight and solid on the earth. The right knee is beneath the right hip. We're supported in this modified side plank. And let's start by flipping the palm toward the earth and really leaning into this side stretch down the whole left side. Inhale, shoulders up over hips. Exhale for the side stretch. Gaze goes up. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, plant the hand. Find that long side stretch to lean into it. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, we're moving in this side plane here, so we're not drifting forward or twisting. Everything's stacked. Everything is moving in this side-to-side lateral plane. Take an inhale and exhale. Circle it back to tabletop. Let's take it through a few rounds of cat-cow here. Curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Cactus arms on the exhale. Open your chest toward the sky. Inhale, back to crescent lunge. Warrior two on the exhale. And for warrior two today, bring the hands to the hips just to take the arms out of the equation here. Have the front knee over the front ankle, and the front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. And I want you to think about your front knee as, rather than drifting inward of the big toe, switch on the outer hip to keep the knee in line with this plane that you're creating with your feet here. And with your hands on your hips, you'll notice that your right hand is in line with the right foot, and the left hand is in line with the left foot because your hips are in line with your feet. And now add your arms into it. Arms are in line with the shoulders. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, nice long side stretch into a side angle. Stay for the inhale. And exhale, continue the circle to plant the hand at the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Start with crescent lunge on the inhale. Little back bend on the exhale. Inhale, back to crescent lunge. Find your balance. Warrior two on the exhale. And again, float the hands down to the hips. Front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. And as your knee bends right over the midline of that foot, not drifting in toward the right, we're using the outer hip to keep that knee drifting out or pulled out to the left. You might feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh. Now add the arms in line with the shoulders. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, side angle, nice long side stretch. Stay for the inhale. And on the exhale, continue that circle. Right hand to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Glance up at the hands, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. For a balancing pose, we're going to take tree pose, and then we'll take some time for floor stretching. So switch all of your body weight to your right foot. My left, I'll mirror you. And now pick up the left knee in line with the hip and have the foot flexed. And so create some tension down that standing leg. Lift up on the quadriceps so it pulls up on the kneecap. Standing leg is straight. Hips are level, not tilting to the right or to the left, not spilling forward or backward. And now once you've got your balance, sweep that left leg out to the left and press the sole of your foot against your calf muscle. You can also, by the way, use your foot as a kickstand. So it's like a little bit of extra support or balance. And if you're feeling particularly zesty today, you might lift your foot up above your kneecap. If you lift your foot up above your kneecap, just make sure you're not pressing into the knee itself, because the knee is a hinge joint. It's meant to bend forward, not sideways, right? And so you don't want to put sideways pressure on the knee. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, tree pose. Pick one point on the floor, something that's not moving, something that's out in front of you. Focus on what you're doing now, not what you haven't done yet, not what you still need to do. Focus on what's right in front of you. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale everything down. Other side. So shift all of your body weight to your left foot. Bring the right knee up in line with the hip. And again, really grip into the standing leg. So grip into the toes, the ankle, quadriceps is engaged, lifting up on the kneecap. When you've got your balance, sweep that right knee out to the right and press the sole of your foot against the calf muscle. Or once again, if you are feeling it, try lifting the foot up above the knee joint. Once you've got your balance, add the arms. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale everything down. Have a seat on your mat. And we'll begin floor stretching with a hamstring stretch. So I'm going to face you. Have your left leg straight, right is bent. So basically you're making the same shape that you just made with tree pose, but you're seated. So inhale, arms overhead, and now square the shoulders over the left leg and fold forward and down. Now slowly release, press back up out of it, but don't switch your legs, because now instead of squaring your shoulders over the left leg, I'm going to have you square your shoulders over the right leg, and then as you plant your hand on the earth, you're going to reach up and over and get a nice long side stretch. We've spent some directed time on side stretching today, and so every time you lean into one of these side stretches, you might feel just a little bit more openness, a little bit more length, a little bit more space in your body. And slowly release back to seated. Now we're going to switch legs. So now have the right leg straight, left is bent. And we begin by folding forward over the hamstring. So inhale, arms overhead, square the shoulders. Exhale, fold. And slowly release back up to seated. Same thing on this side. Leave the legs where they are. Now turn towards your left leg and inhale. Sweep the arm up in this nice long side stretch. Inhale, bring it back to center. And now turn your feet toward the end of your mat. Lie down on your back and hug both knees to your chest. Gently roll side to side. Keep hold of just the right leg. Relax the left leg down onto the earth. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, draw the right leg across the body to the left as your gaze goes out to the right. Nice long sides or spinal twist. Just allow gravity to take over. And slowly release, bring it back to center. Hug just the left knee to the chest now. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, draw the left leg across the body to the right as the gaze goes out to the left. And now slowly bring your knee back to center. One last time, hug your knees to your chest. Gently roll side to side. And then any way that's comfortable for you, relax into your final resting pose. Whatever that looks like for you, whether that's just relaxing on your back, coming to a seated position. Find stillness, find rest. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And then on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And slowly press the earth away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Close your eyes when you get there. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. Paying attention to what you are doing in the moment that you are doing it. That is mindfulness. The ability to observe while you are experiencing. And when you are able to observe, you are able to make choices. You're able to create a space between the experience and your response. And that is freedom. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.